Hey everyone, I can't contain my excitement for the release of the new Pixar movie Inside Out 2. Trust me when I say this, it's the best Pixar movie we've had in years. As a huge fan of Pixar, I was thrilled to see them revisiting the concept of the mind, which they did so brilliantly in the first Inside Out movie. This sequel really feels like Pixar is going back to its roots. I've watched countless trailers and clips, and even got my hands on a concept art book that spoiled a bit for me, but I'm still eagerly looking forward to seeing the full movie. There's something about Pixar's storytelling that always pulls me in, and Inside Out 2 is no exception. Let's start by diving into the story. The movie centers on puberty and the myriad challenges that come with it. It explores emotions like embarrassment, envy, and anxiety, which are incredibly relevant and relatable, especially during those awkward teenage years. I have to say, the characters and the performances of the voice actors are top-notch. The way they bring these emotions to life is both entertaining and thought-provoking. One of my favorite aspects of the movie is the Mind Palace. The puns and concepts within this imaginative space are absolutely adorable. Pixar has a knack for blending humor with deeper themes, and they've done it again here. Now, I'll admit, there's always a risk with sequels that they might just rehash the same themes as the original. And yes, Inside Out 2 does touch on some familiar ground, but it works. This movie is a continuation and expansion of the original story. It delves deeper into the emotions, particularly focusing on how they're sent to the tower and suppressed into bottle emotions. This is a fascinating concept that adds new layers to the narrative. Sadness plays a significant role in this movie, embarking on her own journey separate from the group. This separation allows for some interesting developments and character growth, which I found very engaging. Alright, I'm about to enter spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, consider this your warning. Riley's story in Inside Out 2 revolves around her struggle to balance her anxiety with her desire to fit in with the cool kids at her new school. This storyline is pretty standard, but still engaging. It's a relatable tale of trying to find one's place while dealing with the pressures of adolescence. The movie introduces some new characters within Riley's mind, including a 2D cartoon dog, a video game swordsman, and a deep, dark secret. However, I was a bit disappointed that these characters don't have a major payoff. They're introduced with some promise, but aren't explored as deeply as I would have liked. There's also a journey to retrieve a MacGuffin in the movie, which is a bit different from the abstract world of the first movie. This time the movie expands on the concept of belief systems and a sense of self. I found this very intriguing, but again, I felt that there could have been more exploration here. One thing that I believe was a missed opportunity is the lack of a big emotional climax where all the characters come together. Pixar is known for delivering these powerful, tear-jerking moments, and while Inside Out 2 has its emotional beats, it didn't quite hit the mark for me in this regard. Overall though, I really enjoyed the movie. It's definitely a return to form for Pixar. That said, I do think it could have been even better if certain elements were explored further and if there was a more impactful climax. Now, let's talk about the climax and ending of Inside Out 2. The climax revolves around Riley pushing herself to be the best at hockey, even to the point of sabotaging her own team. This intense mental pressure leads to Riley having an anxiety attack on the bench. Anxiety, depicted as a whirlwind of orange strands, is something Riley can't control, and it's a very powerful scene. Instead of going with anger's initial idea of punting anxiety out of the tower, the solution comes in the form of love. Joy steps in, calms down anxiety from the inside, and tells her to let go of the control. This allows Riley to regain her composure. It's a beautiful moment that showcases the importance of a balance of emotions. One emotion alone can't solve all the issues. They need to work together. The ending sees Riley reconciling with her best friend and realizing the importance of her emotions working in harmony. The core memories are restored, and Riley's beliefs about herself are changed for the better. The movie also touches on the projection of scary nightmare imaginations and the concept of accepting and acknowledging negative emotions, which I found to be very meaningful. Despite some disappointment with the world building and the lack of exploration of certain concepts, I appreciate the character development and the way the movie addresses mental health in a relatable and accessible way for children. Now, let's delve a bit deeper into my thoughts and opinions on the movie. I really liked how anxiety is portrayed, particularly in her fast mode, spinning around the console. It's such a dynamic and relatable depiction of what anxiety can feel like. The concept of all the emotions coming together to form a full picture of Riley's belief system is another highlight for me. However, I do have some criticisms. The climax of the story, where Riley has an anxiety attack, didn't feel as impactful as the original movie or other Pixar films. The deep, dark secret revealed in the movie, which turns out to be a joke about Riley burning a rug, was also a bit disappointing. I was hoping for a more meaningful secret that would have added depth to the story. There were some missed opportunities as well. The speaker game character, the swordsman, doesn't reappear, and the islands representing Riley's emotions aren't expanded upon as much as I would have liked. The idea of Joy fading as a leadership role was interesting, and I wish it had been explored further. There's also a presence of romance in the movie, with various emotions having romantic interests in each other. This was a fun addition, but I think it could have been developed more. The introduction of a 10th emotion, nostalgia, was intriguing but underutilized. Overall, I find Inside Out 2 to be a decent Pixar movie, but it falls short in some areas. The concepts and explanations in the film are brilliant, but the execution and ending could have been stronger. Let's discuss the consequences of the hockey game that I mentioned earlier. I feel that the consequences weren't significant enough. One of the characters gives a monologue apologizing for their behavior, but it's too short. There was an opportunity here to delve deeper into the repercussions of Riley's actions. I also felt anxious when I found out that the characters were going to a different school. It added to the tension of the movie, but the demolition guys introduced earlier don't come back, despite a line suggesting they would. Including them in the final scene could have made for a more exciting climax. The character Envy felt underdeveloped, but I enjoyed the character Ennui and their French accent. It added a unique flavor to the movie. The film's message about enjoying the moment rather than stressing about the outcome is something I really appreciate. I do have a disagreement with the decision to select Riley for the hockey game. It contradicts what was established earlier in the coach's notebooks, which felt a bit off to me. Additionally, the portrayal of anxiety in the film, where she's given a chair to sit to the side, felt like a negative message. Anxiety shouldn't be sidelined. It's a part of who we are and needs to be understood and managed. Despite these criticisms, I consider Inside Out 2 a 9 out of 10. It's a return to form for Pixar, and I hope they continue to tell brilliant stories. However, I'm concerned about the announcement that Pixar is moving away from personal stories. These personal, heartfelt narratives are what make Pixar movies so special. Thank you all for listening to my thoughts on Inside Out 2. I'd love to hear what you think about the movie. Did you enjoy it? Were there any aspects you felt could have been better? Let's discuss in the comments below. Now for a brief recap. Pixar's new movie, Inside Out 2, has generated much excitement for revisiting the concept of the mind, reminiscent of the original Inside Out. The film explores puberty, highlighting emotions like embarrassment, envy, and anxiety brought to life by strong voice performances. The Mind Palace features clever puns and concepts, adding humor and depth. Riley's journey of balancing anxiety and fitting in at her new school is relatable and engaging. The introduction of characters like a 2D cartoon dog and a video game swordsman adds diversity, though their roles are underdeveloped. The film delves into belief systems and self-concept, adding intriguing dimensions even if not fully explored. The climax involving Riley's anxiety attack during a hockey game and Joy's intervention emphasizes emotional balance. Riley reconciles with her best friend and learns to embrace her emotions, underscoring the film's core message. Despite some missed opportunities and less impactful moments compared to the original, the movie effectively addresses mental health in a child-friendly way. Criticisms include the underwhelming climax, the shallow, deep, dark secret reveal, and sidelining certain characters and themes. The film's message about emotional harmony and mental health is a significant takeaway, making Inside Out 2 a commendable yet imperfect return to form for Pixar.